Welcome to Rhythm Timeline 2. In this video, we're going to have a look at how to make your own custom notes. So if you haven't looked at any of the other video tutorials, I highly recommend you do, because this one is going to be more in depth and we're going to have a look at the code as everything is set up. So what we're going to try to do in this video is make a note, which inside this OSU tap note thing, with, instead of having the ring come down, or rather in addition to have this ring come down, we're going to have some other additional images that are going to come from right, top, left, bottom, and they're going to reach this point at the exact time. So how do we do this? First thing we'll do is we want to find the node script. So here I've opened my thing inside Rider. So this is my code editor. If you're using some other code editor, then you can open that. I just enjoy Rider. Let's find our OSU notes. So if I were to check for OSU tap note, we'll find our note over there. But first, let's have a look a bit at what the default note is. So a note, it has a few functions. We've got our awake function over here. We've got our initialize function. This initialize function is going to get called every time we spawn a new node. So remember that nodes are being pooled, which is very important. That means that every time we go into initialize, we need to make sure to reset all of our values. Otherwise, it's going to keep values from the previous node that was taken from the pool. We've got some events over there, a reset function whenever the node is being destroyed, some things on unclip start, unclip stop. We've got what happens when we activate the node. So for example, we're going to set a little game object to true to display that this node is being activated. When we've got same thing for deactivated, we can set a game object to false. We can detect our input over here with onTrigger input. We've got our set pad over here for setting our events for input. So saying that you click something that you shouldn't have, you click something that was good, and the important parts over here. So we've got our timeline input update, or rather, sorry, timeline update functions. Both of those, you either use one or the other, and they're both going to call this hybrid update. So that means that if you're going to move your nodes, you have to do it inside your hybrid update. Let's have a look. For example, our tap node over there, OSU tap node, is an OSU node. We'll check our hybrid function. What does it do? It checks when we're going to have our perfect timing. And then from there, it's going to decide what the distance is from that perfect timing. And we're going to use that to resize our circle. It's going to come down as we go. And then we can set that scale to the timing outline. And we can define over here. So this is for the ring. And we can set the position of the node over here using the vector2 parameter that I've showed before. So in practice, let me just show you that thing. We're just going to select this over here. So you can notice how our ring is getting smaller and smaller. And we can also, with our vector2 parameter over here, if you check that I'm moving this over different places and this is moving, this is because over here inside my function, we've got it there that we're using vector2 to place the nodes inside the scene. So one thing that's quite interesting with tap nodes is this part over there, is how do we manage to select this clip and be able to move things around with a handle. This is done through this over here. this rhythm clip on scene GUI change. What does it do is it uses a position handle to essentially change the value of our vector2 over there. And then the vector2 is used for placing our object. So how do we get this rhythm clip on scene GUI change event or function callback? Is because we're using this iNote rhythm clip on scene GUI change interface. So if you're interested in this interface or how to set up your own editor stuff, it's all documented inside the documentation and you can read more about it. But for now, what we want to do is create our own note. So what I could do is, just like the tap note over here, I'm going to do public class OSU Custom Note, and I'm going to inherit from my note base. So let me just move this to its own script over there. And what we said before is we wanted to have 4 components or 4 images that just move until they reach the point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to serialize field, and I'm going to have transform. I'm going to have 4 game objects that are going to move. So I'm going to do, this one is going to be left, and we're going to have right, and we're going to have up, down. Right. Okay, so we've got our 4 transforms. These are the things that we want to move. And the next thing we're going to do is override our hybrid update. In our hybrid update, it has a time from start and a time from end. So this tells us exactly when we've got our start and end times. If we check inside, we can always check what is a perfect time. Every type of note have its own type of perfect. But in our case, we're just going to use, so this is our perfect time. I'm just going to copy. So a perfect time over there. And we can check also inside the base class always how far we are from being from the perfect time. Copy that. And then I can select the values of those. So what we had before is this thing, which tells us where the notes ends at the perfect timing. So we'll just grab that. And what I'll do is, depending on the delta time, we're going to move in the direction of these. So let's say, for example, this is the note position. So this, at the perfect point, this is where we want to be. Right? That means that when delta 0, we want to be at this point. So if we're above delta 0, we're going to move away. So how do we do this? Just grab a left, for example. We're going to do position is equal to that plus, I'll do left, because we're going to do -1, and we're going to multiply that with the delta, which is our time, and then perhaps with a speed. So we'll create a serialized field, private load speed. We'll set this to 1, and we can multiply it over here. So now it complains a little bit, says reorder multiplication. I'm just going to do that. If you're confused about all these auto-completion things, it's because I'm using Rider with also Copilot at the same time. So it auto-completes certain things for me and also suggests for improvements. So in this case, I'm moving the wrong direction. So this one is left, but this one should be right. This one is top, so it should be 0, 1, and then this one is bottom, so -1. And there you go. Just like that, we've created a new custom note. Let's see if it actually works, because I've never tested that before. I'll go over here. Let me just grab my notes. So this is a note's definition. I'm just going to duplicate this one. I'm going to duplicate my tap note, and I'm going to call them custom. Custom. I got this custom definition over here. I'm just going to drag and drop prefab over there. I'm going to change the color to red for this custom note. I'm going to drag and drop it. So now I've got my custom notes. Let me just move my custom notes to the very start. I can actually, I'm going to delete this one. So this is our custom note. Currently, it looks very much like a tap note because it is a tap note. So I've got this note over there, which is my tap note. I'm going to create my custom OSU Custom Note. I've got a lot of values over here. So let me just see if I can copy components and paste component values. No, I'm not allowed. So I guess one thing we can do to copy paste all of these, I'm just gonna duplicate this tab. I'm gonna put them side by side. And now what I can do is have my custom notes open on one, my tap note open on another. And now that's an easy way for me to check what I need to select. I'm just gonna copy everything very quickly. Put 0, 0, 3. Copy, paste. Got these on. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Got a canvas. Paste. Our renders. Paste. And so at that point, we've got everything the way it was before. So let me remove the tap note. Let me remove this inspector now that we don't need it anymore. We've got it here, and now we've got our new components, which is left, right, top, down, speed. So how are we going to do this? I'm going to grab this background thing. I'm going to make them slightly smaller. And I'm going to move them. So this is going to be left. Or rather, let me just remove the canvas too. I'm just going to have a little bubble, right? So I'm going to call this one left, right, top, down. Put this to 1, or rather 2. Oh wait, this one was left, so this -2, 2. Top is going to be 0, 2. Down is going to be 0, -2. Okay, so we got our little bubbles over there. We're going to assign them. It's going to be left, right, top, down. And we got our speed. So let's see if our thing actually works. We're going to our timeline, got our director, and if we move, oh, you see those little bubbles over here? Actually move, and then they're going to reach the perfect point as soon as they reach over here. So maybe they move a bit slowly. So let me just go over there, and I'm gonna make it move faster. Maybe 5. And at that point, now that we got 5, Let me see, do they actually move faster? Let me boost that value to 50 to see if it actually makes a difference. Now it does. And the reason it actually works now and not before is because the prefab was spawned. So once you're previewing things, the game object or the prefab is being spawned in the scene. And so this is an instance, so any changes you make to the prefab is not going to make any changes. So what you want to make sure is to always undo the preview and start the preview again. You're making changes to prefab. I think 5 is a good value, right? But one thing you notice is they kind of overshoot over there, and we can easily fix that, right? If I go inside my script over here, I've got these things. I do plus blah blah blah. Well, what I could do is do the entire multiplication inside the value. And I'm gonna do that to var, let's say offset. And my offset is gonna be delta time times speed. And we're gonna clamp this f, let's clamp, actually min max 0, so it's either 0 or it's bigger than that value. So now I can do offset. This can be minus offset, 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 minus offset. Can simplify that. Oop, oop. There you go. So now it's all simplified. Let's see if that actually works. After it compiles, I did the exact opposite of what I wanted. Go back. And so what I want is minus. There you go. Now it works. And it stops over here. There you go. So there's a lot more you can do to this whole thing. So for example, these are green, but perhaps we want them to be red. So the way you would do this is you'd go inside the OSU Note, you'd scroll down, you'll see, oh, there's this thing called visuals. You can override the visuals over here, and you'll notice that I'm setting the primary color of these things to the rhythm track. So let me just grab this, and I can just do the exact same. Overrides, initialize node visuals. I've got my primary color. Grab those. It's going to be a bit inefficient, but I'm sure you get the idea, right? Right render and color is equal to, and we're going to do this. And just like that, we do right, up, down. Normally it should be red now. There you go. And if we move it to another one, it becomes blue. And if we move it over there, it's green. So very, very simply, we're able to make a custom note that is visually different and makes it quite unique. There's so much more that we could look into, but this video is already getting pretty long. But what I can suggest is that you make sure to read through all the source code, because everything is included. Most of the functions have documentation on exactly how it's supposed to work. And if not, it's very clear codes that you can read through. And of course, you can ask me questions inside the Discord channel. So I think I'll end the video over here. I hope you've learned a thing or two, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.